Hey guys, what's up? My name's Jared, and this is my second video of my series of how to build a homemade jet engine. For this video, we are going to discuss the combustion chamber. It's going to be the first thing that we need before we add all the other components into it. So let's get started on that. I'll show you some of the parts that we need. First, for the combustion chamber, I have a rather large piece of steel pipe. This is a 6-inch diameter pipe. I believe it's about 12 gauge steel. You can use stainless steel or any other type of material. It's very lenient. This is an experiment, so have fun. The better steel is obviously going to cost you more money, so know what your budget is here. But also, I have a 4-inch diameter steel pipe. I believe this one's a little thicker. It's probably about maybe 10 gauge. I'm not sure. But I picked this up in my local metal store, or metal yard, and it was fairly cheap. If you're not sure what size you need your pieces to be for your combustion chamber, there is a good formula on rcdon.com. I'll post a link to that right here. Those calculations are based on the inducer of your turbocharger, which is this diameter right here. So know that measurement, and that will be your magic number. First off, we're going to start with the outermost part of our combustion chamber, and that's going to be my 6-inch steel tubing. And my inducer is about 3 inches, so the calculations do come out to 6 inches in diameter and about 12 inches in length, almost. You'll have to experiment a little. So I'm going to cut that piece, leave a little bit extra room so that you can trim things off, and then we'll take it from there. So right now I just finished cutting out a 16-inch segment of our 6-inch diameter tubing, and as you can see, my cuts there aren't too pretty, but we'll clean that up later. Now this is going to be used for the outside portion of our combustion chamber. Now next what we're going to do is we're going to be tapering the end of this 6-inch diameter tubing so that it gets smaller at this end to add more compression. Alright, so the first step in tapering the combustion chamber is I drew a line around it just to mark where I want, and this is pretty much just a guess. I guessed 4 inches from the top just to give me some room to work with. Now the outer circumference of my combustion chamber is about 19 inches, and yours will vary. But I've calculated that I need to take it down to a 3x3 square, which is a perimeter of 12 inches. So once you figure out what your circumference is, what you need to take it down to, then you know how much you need to cut off. Now I've calculated that for me to do that, I need to cut out about 4 triangles that are about 1.75 inches long. So you have your triangle that's going to be this way. Of course you got 0 that you're cutting away here. You got your 1.75 inches that you're cutting away here. So best way is to take a piece of paper, wrap it around, and then draw your triangles, measure them out, evenly space them, and that way you'll know where to cut and you can transfer the lines to your combustion chamber. I hope that makes sense. So I just finished drawing out my triangles. These triangles are where I'm going to cut. I have my 1.75 inches, then my 3 inches, then another 1.75 inches, and so on. So this paper I'm going to wrap around the tube to help me trace out my lines. So I have my guide taped onto my combustion chamber, and it's as simple as that. I'm just going to use these to mark the lines with my angle grinder to show me where I need to cut. Alright, so I've gone through and I've marked my edges on here. As you can see, well, you may not be able to see that, but and next I'm going to try to cut the triangles fully out. So we'll see how this works. And I would really kill for a plasma cutter. So if any of you out there got an extra one that you want to send me, feel free. Alright, well, as you can now see, I have my wedges cut out of here. So next, what I'm going to do is, if you also take a look, I have a square flange on my turbocharger. So I need to bend this round part flat into a square to fit it. So that's what I'm going to do next. At home you can also, if you cut a little bit around the ends here, it'll help to fit it better. So you can give that a try. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that the length of your combustion chamber works for your flame tube. You only want a little bit of a gap just over the edge of it so that air can pass by and it mixes the fuel the way that we need it to. So you want to trim your combustion chamber or your flame tube just a little bit shorter. Alright, so next what you're going to want to do is need to make the end of your combustion chamber. Now, what I did is I made one ring of holes, and you can see these are very badly cut. I just used my jigsaw around here. It looks like crap, I know that. But one of the things I want you to learn from this video is that even if you don't have the right tools, you can make a turbojet engine that does work. So this is going to be welded to the end of my combustion chamber, and this other plate is going to bolt on top of it. I'm going to have similar holes on this plate as well so that the bolts will go on. Alright, so what you need to do now is figure out how you want your combustion chamber to line up with the exhaust on your turbo. Now for me, I want it to lay right beside it, so I made this elbow, this end will go onto my combustion chamber, and this will hook onto the exhaust of the turbocharger. So due to my bad planning, I kind of made this elbow bend the wrong way. See how it's 2 inches on this side, 3 on this side? It should have been the other way around. So instead of build this entire thing over, I'm making an adapter out of these 4 trapezoid pieces. So let's see how it works out. So here's a quick little blueprint of the parts that you'll need to cut out for the combustion chamber elbow, and I've fixed these so that you don't run into my little screw up. Alright, so I'm just about done with my combustion chamber. As you can see, I've welded my elbow on. I've also got my adapter on there out of my 4 trapezoids. And I've also cut the rectangle in my flange that's going to bolt onto the turbo. And this is a 1/4 inch steel, so this is very hard to work with, especially if you don't have the right tools. I'm sure if you did have the right tools, it'd be a piece of cake. But I just cut through a 1/4 inch steel using nothing but a drill, a jigsaw, and an angle grinder. So, of course it's ugly, but you know what? I don't care. So now all I got to do is weld the combustion chamber onto the flange. Well, there you have it. That's all for our combustion chamber. Tune in next time. I'm going to show you guys all about making the flame tube that's going to go inside the combustion chamber.